Inta's looking confused. Inta's looking confused. Inta's looking confused.
Well,
Inta's looking confused.
You are very unpredictable. I'm not sure what you're going to do. You're going to pull out, your magnifying glass and do a Sherlock Holmes on some subject.
You're listening to DBK, and that was a very informal introduction. Yeah, you could loosely call it an introduction. Today, we're on the topic of the intellectual dark web. We're talking.
Oh, I see.
Yes, you know what? Do you know? Have you noticed, Insa? We have very discrete buckets of topics, and when we talk about philosophical cul-de-sacs, people that are espousing the wrong way, not the righteous path, the intellectual dark web, fake gurus, bad advice.
Yeah, I've always wanted to ask this question.
Go on, go for it.
How do people get onto the dark web? I mean, is there a signpost, all evil doers go dark web? Because we don't know how to get onto it.
Insa hack, everybody knows you go to www.darkweb.com.
Wow, oh, is that it?
No, joke. No, that's a joke. That is a proper, right. Or an attempt at a joke. Right, so, I mean, let's jump into today's topic of the conversation. Insa hack, did you by any chance partake in any listening on the way here?
A little bit. What exactly do you mean? Which subject do you have in mind?
So when he says a little bit, I'm guessing that answer is a no. I'm going to grill him a little bit. So I don't know, Insa hack, what did you hear live across the airways?
I heard you talking, but unfortunately I was a little bit busy and I had a little snippets of information. So please fill me in. So the dark web, you've been discussing this hour.
So basically, I'm lost for words. Right, sorry. I'm joking. I'm being silly. Right, I lost my thoughts. I just went blank for a sec. We are talking about Russell Brand, very famous, influential thinker, philosopher, that's a stretch, comedian, actor. Importantly, for the conversation that we're having right now, he used to be the darling of the left. He used to stick up for the oppressed. He was very anti-Islamophobic. He used to speak out against Islamophobia from the very far right corners of America, American news. And on a dime, according to George Monbiot and others, he's turned on a dime and he's now cozying up to the very same people he used to mock and deride, and is now very much part of the far right sphere, you might say.
Wow, that's a very, very heavy, statement. I mean, like I say, I used to find him interesting in the past, and he always seemed to be this kind of symbol of free expression and against the authoritarianism of the world.
Yeah, well, now he's a guest on Fox News. Go figure,
well,
right?
Come on, bro. You can't just because you're on Fox News doesn't mean you're on the far right.
Right. Okay.
Define it a bit more.
Well, okay. I mean, I won't define it because I'll probably get in trouble when we don't have a big legal team, right? But I'll let other people define it. George Monbiot will say how he is interviewing and interviewed by. What's he called? I'm going to list a bunch of names and just take it as a given that these people are from the alt-right, the far right, the intellectual dark web in America, very racist, anti-Islamic, Islamophobic, and very pro-hegemonic. They like America invading other countries. It's okay to invade Iraq. Okay, so who we're talking about? Is it the Rubin report? James Rubin? John Rubin? I forget his name.
Yeah, I forget his name. I mean, I know Tucker Carlson, but he's left now.
Yeah, okay, so there's him, Candace Owens, Joe Rogan, Russell, Jordan Peterson, the usual. And so, I mean, so he's part of that sort of group now. So this is an article from The Spectator breaking down what happened. How did this happen? Bro, I was saying before, just to recap to any listeners that are just tuned in, I don't think this is a new thing. I think this is as old as the hills. And you only have to look at Christopher Hitchens, that according to a lot of people who analyse his work, he went from being a darling of... Remember George... who's the guy that debated him? George Galloway.
Yeah.
He eloquently described how he was a darling of the left, an angel of the left.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward a bunch of years, gets American citizenship, and all of a sudden hates Muslims, hates.
Yes, we have seen a few videos of this gentleman giving his views. We're not going to espouse them here on the channel. It's up to you guys to have a look and give your own opinion, make your own evaluation.
Well, no. We can quote him. They are his opinions.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just pointing out that it's noted that it's not a unique phenomena of people 1 minute being a darling of the left and then flipping over to the other side. And I mean, I don't know how that happens, but let's see.
Yeah. Go on,
cool. Let's get back onto it.
Yeah.
This is an article from The Spectator breaking down what happened. Okay, Brand's backstory when The Guardian first took him up was that he'd been a MTV presenter becoming drug addicted, but was now clean and doing comedy. But what he didn't say, and they didn't notice, was glaringly obvious to a lot of people, that he was basically replacing the quest for the next chemical high with a craving for attention. The Guardian column promoted over a sizable chunk off the front page had a characteristically overdone intro predicated around a scuba dive, which was, Brand wrote, numismatic enough, a drenched heaven, coastal shelves and their staggering subaquatic architecture, blah 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 blah. I'm not saying I'm an estuary Che Guevara, he wrote many paragraphs later, but this was very much what he was saying, how he was styling himself and how he wanted to be seen. So in other words, I think what they're trying to say is like, the writing was on the wall a long time ago, that if you read between the lines, you could see that he was basically trying his best to be he's trying to style himself to be a Che Guevara sort of character. I've followed him for a long time. What, you reading there?
No, I'm just looking at a few of the statements that he said over the years.
Oh,
so you carry on, please, and I'll come back to you.
So basically, this was, to a lot of observers, this aberrant behavior. You could see he would have this flowery language, framing himself as a hero. So he went from being addicted to drugs to being, according to some people, The Spectator, for example, being addicted to attention, aiming to move beyond the confines of MTV into wider fame. Brand was beginning to posture as an intellectual. That scuba passage, for example, includes references to art, architecture, religion, and a word, numismatic, that no one has heard of, all in a single sentence. And so, I mean, why is this important? His literary output quickly transitioned to the puerile My Bookie Wook, to the loftier revolution. So in other words, you can see he was trying his best to step up to get attention as an intellectual, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. But beyond the rebel prose, Brand was closer into thinking, closer in his thinking to Groucho than Karl Marx. That's quite funny. That's quite funny. So in other words, it wasn't actually that deep. He's still a comedian. That's really what I think they're trying to say. Those are my principles, and if you don't like them, I have others. Is his ultimate creed. He told Paxman in 2014, I've never voted and I never will. The following year, he was urging the youth to vote Labour. So, I mean, let's just pause there and just reflect for a second. I think we've talked about this many times in cafes, which is why I like talking about this on air. I always think, let's not talk about stuff in cafes, the things that we want to talk, the real conversations, let's have them on air. And I think let's just dissect that a little bit. Like this weird, if you had a friend like that, we've all got friends like that. Bro, you've got a friend like that, me, right? I'm an attention seeker, right? And I'm being a bit facetious, but
you hit on a good point there, that he seems to be a mix of different concepts. He tries to be a rock star, he's not a rock star. he's a comedian, but he's not a comedian. He's a YouTube blogger. He's a celebrity.
Yeah.
He's a freedom fighter. What is he?
Yeah.
He's one or neither, and he doesn't seem to be either of these things.
He's got ADHD.
Yeah, do you think so?
Yeah, it's been diagnosed.
Has he been diagnosed?
Literally, that wasn't a joke.
So, okay, fair enough. Let's start from that point of view. Say he has a personality condition, something about him that skews his view of reality. He shapes the world around him, and is that a trait of turning from one side of the fence to the other side, going from the left to the right?
Here's the thing. I mean, I think it's a very good question to talk about things in terms of your predilections, your tendencies, your neurology, and I think that's a really important point you're raising. I might have raised it first, but you actually took it somewhere interesting. Yeah. But sorry, I'm going to cough. Can you just talk for 30 seconds?
Okay. Yes, Russell.
I don't have COVID-19. Don't worry. Yeah.
I was going to say that you said it yourself. He's gone from one side of the fence to the left to the right, and this could be. He must know if he had any common sense, he would know that this would undermine him as a person's credibility.
Yeah,
you don't go from one side to the other. I know we all have traits of both. We can be conservative in some things, we can be liberal in others.
Yeah,
but there's a combination of different things that make us who we are.
Yeah.
But you don't jump from the far right to the far left.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, let me rewind.
You got 1 minute and 30 seconds.
All right, 1 minute.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I was going to say there have been examples where guys from the far right who have become Muslims, they have converted to Islam. There's a guy in Scandinavia, he's a politician. He became a Muslim.
Yeah.
And he was an outright critic of Muslims. Yeah, I'm going to find him in a minute, right?
Hey, listen, Insa, all I got to say is that it's an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And, it's how do you go from one thing to another?
Yeah.
What's the process? How does it happen? How sincere is that transition? I think all of these things are interesting questions, but I think why it's really important is because the Andrew Tates of this world, speak to any 16-year-old person, production manager and manager, Anjum, it might be listening and might be asking, why are we talking about Andrew Tate? Ask any 16-year-old what Andrew Tate is, and you'll understand why Andrew Tate is important to dissect and understand, because he is a phenomenal phenomena. And if you want to understand the direction of the next generation or this generation, how we our ability to think for ourselves, critically think, that kind of thing, if we have gurus and fake gurus, and we have good philosophy and bad philosophy, and we have religion as a guide, and we have nihilism as a guide. I mean, all of those questions are important.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the break, please.
Yes, all right. So you're listening to DBK and Insa Hack, and we've been talking about gurus. We're going to be back very soon with a continuation of that topic. Insa is frantically looking at the clock. It's cool. We're going to outro in literally a few seconds. But
thank God for that.
Yeah, I can't help but talk. That's why I'm good on radio, brethren.
I know.
It's all on the mic. Right, you're listening to DBK here, Insa Hack. We're going to be back very soon. Stay tuned.